Today I'm going to be reviewing the Blackbeard. So a lot of early level 10 owners are officially getting the Blackbeard as of today, and so I wanted to make a review on the vehicle. Now right off the bat, the biggest issue with this vehicle is the jittering. When you lag out, the vehicle can be a bit glitchy, but that also happens with some other vehicles like the Scorpion and the Manta, so hopefully they can get that resolved soon. But despite this, I really like the design of the vehicle. We finally got a hot rod-like vehicle once again. It was created by Plasma, who also created a few other vehicles back then, like the Carbonera. So basically, he took in an aerodynamic boat and converted it into a hot rod-like vehicle. And I gotta say, the design is really cool. You can see we got the Blackbeard text, we got the pirate flag, we also got the anchors, as well as the engine, which does emit fire when you start driving. And I gotta say, it's really cool. We also got the treasure on the back, and you also sit inside of some pod-like area, which I feel like is just amazing in my opinion. And these doors are animated, so when you get inside, they just close like that. It's really cool. So if I go ahead and go over to the Customize tab, you can see that we do have a couple options for the Blackbeard. So, of course, you can apply a texture, you got the body colors, and then obviously the generic stuff. But you can see that we are not able to apply a spoiler because you can probably tell that it can't really support a spoiler anyway. So, no spoiler for that. But you can see that we do have a couple options, and I gotta say, I think this is really cool. So, for second body, it does actually adjust a lot of the secondary part of the Blackbeard, including the engine, which in my opinion is really cool. Over here, we also got body color, which just applies the color onto the main body. I'm not going to really mess with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and select a color over here. Let's do darkest brown. I think that's fine. So yeah, I decided to make the Blackbeard look a lot better, and I gotta say, it does look really nice. The Buccaneer texture actually does look good on the Blackbeard in my opinion, so I went ahead and used that texture. We also got the license plate, it does change, so that's kind of cool. So the general question is, how good is the Blackbeard? So I know a lot of season vehicles are purely for design nowadays, but some vehicles are quite fast, even though their design is remarkable. So we'll start with reverse speed. The reverse speed is quite good. We can see it is able to reach about 100 miles per hour. So that's actually not too bad. I am using the level 5 engine, if I was wondering. Now as in for the forward speed, the acceleration and launch are pretty good, but they're not the best, truthfully. So it does take a little while to reach true top speed, and for the most part, you probably will not be able to reach the true top speed across the map. But you can see it is going quite fast. It goes up to about 200 miles per hour within a few seconds of launch, but the true top speed can easily be reached on water. And the reason I say that is because the Blackbeard is able to be driven on water. So if I go ahead and just do this, you can see that, yeah, it can be driven on water. So because of the bounciness, I had to lower the graphics, but you can see that the Blackbeard is just a much better alternative to the DeLorean. You can see that the vehicle is going really fast on water. I wonder if it's possible to reach about 300 miles per hour on water, but if so, then that's great. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use a little bit of rocket fuel like that, and yeah, you can see that it got quite close to 300 miles per hour. I'm pretty sure it might be able to reach it, but I'm not too sure. It is going down though, so it might have been changed up, but yeah, it does go quite fast. It's kind of close to 300 miles per hour, but it is not too bad. So this is definitely a way better vehicle than the DeLorean, if anything. But now I wanted to see how this vehicle can do inside of jailbreak trading. So I'll give the vehicle a try in the drag strip, so I'm gonna go ahead and just start in 3, 2, 1, and you can see that, yeah, the launch isn't too bad, the acceleration is pretty good, but it does take a while to reach true top speed. So as I said, it's not very easy to reach true top speed across the map. But on the drag strip, you can see that without rocket fuel, it does go quite far. So I am able to reach about 260 miles per hour by the time I've reached the end. So that's not too bad. And I know there were a lot of videos on the Blackbeard before. Those videos showcased the Blackbeard before the Blackbeard was entirely finalized, and this should be the finalized version of the Blackbeard. So if you notice that it's a little bit slower than usual, then it's likely because they adjusted the Blackbeard by the time the level 10 owners are able to get their hands on the Blackbeard. So I'm going to go ahead and see how people will react to the Blackbeard as of currently. So I'll go ahead and just do that right here. And let's see. So we don't have a lot of people who have the Blackbeard currently. And if I go ahead and check here, we can see that about 22 of them have been traded. There's 7 unique. That's because just a few people have been able to get the Blackbeard. And yeah, we do have a good amount of people trying to get the Blackbeard right now. But eventually this vehicle is going to be quite common to find. So for now, I would recommend either trading it or just keeping it. For me, I'm just going to keep it. I don't really care much about trading in my opinion. So I'm just going to be keeping the Blackbeard. But overall, if I have to give a rating, I'll give the Blackbeard a solid 8.5 out of 10. The biggest problem is obviously the jittering. I don't really like the fact that the Blackbeard just jumps around when you lag out. But if they can fix that, that would be great. Otherwise, this is actually a really cool looking vehicle. I'm so glad we got a hot rod leg vehicle once again. I think the last one we got was the Rattler from Season 4. So this was a very welcoming surprise. But yeah, so if you have any thoughts about the Blackbeard, please feel free to let me know. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you guys next time.